Hello and welcome. My name's Campbell. This is Spiral Up. Thank you for joining me. And today we've got a chat. I'm talking with Christopher Sideris. I think that's how you say it. And he has a YouTube channel as well, which I'll leave the link below. So do go over, check out his work, give him a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, we're just going to have a chat about what's going on in the world and what we can do to get back on track again.
How is it in Australia, man? I've been hearing like a lot of bad stuff, to be honest with you.
See, Australia's weird. It's all on the, but Australia's like 80% of the population's up the east coast, right? And then you've got literally way over the other side of the country, which is in a car is like 5 days drive from the nearest capital city, is Perth, where I live. So we're like, we're not really part of, like Australia is pretty much the east coast and we're part of it, but we're just like, we're Western Australia. So not much is going on here, like not much at all. There's a mask mandate on at the moment, and I went to the shops the other day without one and no one said anything, got served, no problems. Everyone was walking around with masks on.
I think people blow it up way more than it actually is, to be honest with you. Like I haven't violent interactions with nobody.
It's
not in person.
I think it's also that thing of, taking the step, being the change you want to see. If you go out and walk around without one, it gives all these people that are sitting there going, this is crap. It gives them, hopefully, the courage to go, well, I'm taking mine off too. This is crap. And they know they're not alone, because this is a thing. It's, unless you're in sort of certain circles, if you're watching the news and that, or trying to, get information, but you're not sort of hooked in, it must be pretty confusing. Like thinking this is all crap, but not actually having the other side of the story where we're all going, yeah, and here's the proof. Because, the MSN, I mean,
yeah, it actually kind of gets into the first question that I actually was curious just to hear your opinion, because you're not just a spiritual guy, you're a truther, you're into all that stuff. And I wanted to know, like, what do you think about the ones that can't see it? And it's something I talk about all the time on my channel. And wait, actually, that reminds me, am I allowed to curse here? This is Spiral Up, right?
Right? I don't normally, especially on this show. I don't normally on any of my channels, but I had Dave Weiss on. I interviewed him the other day, and he just started dropping F-bombs everywhere, and I was just like, oh, well, here we go.
And you didn't edit it?
No, I just left him in there. I was thinking I'll put funny sounds over it, but there were so many that it would have just like been silly. So
well, I'll try to keep it to a minimum if any at all. But my channel just, I don't know if you've been watching, but I made a dramatic turn lately. I just got, like, to be honest,
when
I first, I'm sorry, before I get into that, what the hell, the question that I wanted to know was, why do you think those that can't see it don't see it?
I mean, clearly, the first answer would be, programming from before we can speak, about everything, the whole school paradigm, the whole trust authority, the whole, we've worked the story out, here it is, just believe, all this kind of stuff. And then obviously imprinted by movies, books, pop culture, TV, all this stuff. And so I think a lot of people, I've always seen it, like, ever since I can remember. So when I first started hearing of people, like waking up, I was like, oh, really? So people can actually get it? Like, I didn't realize. I just thought you either got it or you didn't, and it was like, that was it. But then people started, waking up. But if you're never given, if you're brought up in a situation where you're not taught to think, and you're never, everything is just, here it is, accept it, rather than what do you think about this, then, imagine what that does to a mind over 30, 40, 50 years. Like, for them to think and to question is so outside their paradigm And then of course all their friends are the same, and they don't want to, you know, be the one without the mask and all this. Where on our side of the fence, we're like, we want people to yell at us. We want to do it. Come on, let's do it.
I've actually been this way so long that I forgot that was a way to be, what you just brought up, like where you don't want to be the weird guy.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that feeling, you know. It's been that long. That's interesting.
And it's funny, I was looking for footage for my last Spiral Up video, and I was watching some, like, you know, marches, you know, and it's really interesting. The people with, you know, the nappies on their face, they all march. They're all in formation, you know, they're behind each other. They're walking like they're a military thing or robots or something. Then you watch the ones where people aren't wearing them, and they're all over the place, yelling, waving stuff, and, you know, they're all together, but they're not in this, you know, rigid formation. It's really interesting. So it's a mindset thing, you know. And then of course we have the whole, you know, NPC question, you know, like what's what's really going on with some of these people.
I actually just talked about that recently on my channel. About that's a slippery slope. That's like scary as hell to me. The idea that, like, you know, there could be just fake human people, and, you know, because one thing I remember, what I brought up in the video was that there was an MMA fighter, I think it was Ganyu or something, but they had linked how, and they showed a picture of the people in Nazi Germany and how their neighbors were chasing them with sticks, and their own neighbors were beating them up because they seen them like subhumans. And it's like, I know what humans are capable of, you know, and it's like when you start talking NPCs and shit, it's like, oh my goodness, you know, I don't know if that's a good road to go down. I have experienced some really bizarre human behavior, I guess you could say, like some really bizarre human behavior that's nonsensical, doesn't make sense, it's out of place, it's an aggravated attack for no reason. I've seen that kind of stuff. But NPC, I don't know, I think it's what you said, just people in cognitive dissonance, just people have trouble taking that on as their new reality. How's it benefit them? Like, really, how does it benefit them to take that on?
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, right? And clearly they don't, you know, these are the people that think, oh, if everyone just gets the vax, it'll go back to normal. This is what they believe. So this is why they freak out, because they see us as someone who's, to them, is we're keeping them in lockdown. Like they're so diametrically opposed to what we can see, because they're so programmed that yeah, this is obviously was the game, right? They want division. They want us to be, you know, yelling at each other. And we both, I mean, we can see their point of view because we can watch the news, but they can't see our point of view, and they're in a position where I guess it's easier to just yell and scream. I mean, I saw a video, it's unbelievable, from the 4th of July in America. And this lady came out, and everyone, you know, there were fireworks going off, and she started screaming at the fireworks. No, stop, why are you doing this? And she kept going and going, and she was screaming at the fireworks to stop. It was just unbelievable.
Are you
having a complete breakdown?
Yeah,
like,
you know.
So when you hear that, can these people even think? I mean, that's not even, that's even a 2-year-old wouldn't do that. Even a 2-year-old would be like, if I yell at that, it's not going to stop. Clearly, I need to find who's setting them off and have a chat with them. You know, it's a very childlike emotional response, but you see like 30 and 40 and 50-year-old grown adults doing it. It's very bizarre. It's really bizarre. It's just and then, like I said, this is actually probably the main topic on my channel. To be honest, it's their behavior, and it's frustrating. Again, like I've said plenty of times, I get mad on my channel. I curse at them. I call them mouth breathing, all kinds of bad stuff. But it actually comes from a place of love. I love them. I see them walking off a cliff willingly, and it's like, you know, and it just it's very frustrating to watch it happen. It's infuriating to watch it happen, to be honest. Well, you know,
truth and spirituals are not the same. Two good paths to walk simultaneously. They are not, to be honest with you.
Yeah, God, that confused me when I was young too. Like, I couldn't separate. Like some people back, you know, back in the 80s when all this seminars and webinars of, you know, self-help and all this was out, and, you know, I used to sort of volunteer and work at those. And yeah, I never could understand why people could be into self-help but not link that to spirituality. Like, you'd talk to these people, they'd be, oh yeah, rah rah, and my mind can create all this stuff, oh, but God doesn't exist. I'm like, what's the power that creates it? I'm confusion. Like, so yeah, that whole, how some people, and that's what they want. It's all compartmentalization, right? This is us not. They do it in you know, obviously in big industry and that, so they can get stuff done. You know, you focus on what you're doing and you don't worry about what the people around you are doing, because that's none of your business, right? And that's also where society is. It's like, just, you know, so clearly all the news and that, it's not aimed at us. It's aimed at all these people that are losing their minds. And it's just building a bigger box for them. It's, and I guess the thing is, I mean, I don't watch TV, so.
I mean, either, not for like 20 years.
Yeah. So if you watch TV, I don't know what they're being told. You know, they probably don't even know that anyone's died from Bill's prick. You know, they might not even know that. And we've got videos everywhere of it.
Oh yeah, there's a website dedicated to all the fatalities, how they died, all the weird stuff that's happened. And
I saw one the other day, and this poor girl was getting Tourette's after like, she was getting all these involuntary movements, and she was starting to like make clicking sounds and things that she couldn't, all involuntary. And she was,
I believe it.
You know, she was like 25 or something. It's
yeah, so many have been injected and just died an hour later, man. So many people just don't know about it. It's not on the news. Isn't that something interesting?
2 women on the, I think it was the Indian or the Pakistani cricket team. Like, you know, healthy, athletic women in their 20s. They all had to get Bill's prick to go across the border and play cricket. 2 of them dropped dead on the field.
Oh, that's just reality for you, and
it's just not out there, you know.
Like, where are we really? Like, seriously, what the hell is going on? This is just it really is. I've kind of gone down the more like the rabbit hole of like, I think I'm becoming the laughing Buddha, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I started laughing at how silly the reality was earlier, and I almost couldn't stop right before this interview. And I thought, dude, he's going to start this interview, and I'm still going to be laughing, and it's going.
I was just watching Salty Cracker. Do you watch Salty Cracker?
No.
Oh, you've got
to... Salty. Is he like a ginger kid, maybe?
No. You've got to check out Salty Cracker. He's still on YouTube, but obviously he's been kicked off and that. But he's awesome. He does live streams. He gets like 20,000 people on his live streams, but then he has like 3 platforms, all with 20,000 people on them, and he just goes off. I mean, he's smart, but he just takes the mickey out of them. But, you know, lighthearted, funny. It's just good fun, and that's really, you know, it's a good outlet. I mean, if we get too stressed about all this, we become them, right?
Oh yeah, well,
you know,
we become exactly what they wanted us to be. Yeah.
So you know, it's like, and I think I got it from Salty. You know, it's like meme them till they cry, and then meme about them crying. Because I mean, at this point, what else is going to wake them up? I mean, you know,
we've tried everything else. I think
it's just you can only give so, you know, it's like you can take a person to knowledge, but you can't make them think, you know. You can show all this stuff, but if they're not going to read it or watch it, or if they're going to watch it with a mindset of this is just crap, rah, 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 then what's the point?
Humans are easily controllable.
Sorry?
Do you think human beings are easily controllable creatures?
If you know what you're doing, I think they are. But I think that the biggest part of that is environment. So if you get a human being and put them with, you know, the right parents, from our point of view, then no, I don't think they are at all. Because all we need is that different point of view. We just need someone to ask us questions to say, what about this? Look at it this way. And when you do that, your mind just takes over. It'll do the rest. It'll just start going, whoa. It's when we box it in and it's like I said before, they tell us that everything's worked out. So there's no need to think, because we know here it is. Why would you think? And so I guess to a lot of people that's probably, comforting. I go, oh, great, I don't have to do anything. But
I just thought, like, how you would expect more to have waken up just based off of the fact of, I want to watch this silly theory just to prove it wrong. Like, that's how I went into flat Earth.
Yeah.
I actually went into it thinking, man, come on, with these people are serious. Like, the Earth's flat, really? I'm going in here to show these silly bozos how intelligent I am and how silly they are. But it didn't work out that way. I left a little different. Like, well, that was interesting. But you think there would be more awake people just based off of that? Like, I want to go just see how stupid these people are for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, but I mean, flat Earth is an interesting one too, because you watch some of those interviews, especially, Dave Weiss does a lot of them, and he'll talk to anyone. So with his interviews, it's really interesting. You can see the different, it all depends on the human. Some people are, yeah, okay, yeah, well, I'll talk about it, I'm not really going to change my mind, but I'll, and you can get into those people. Someone like, yeah, yeah, let's go, show me your proofs, you'll probably change your mind, you might not. And some people doesn't go in, right? Because this is the thing, we build filters, don't we? We build filters subconsciously or consciously. And of course, we should be doing it consciously. And so these filters for these, SJW types is, if it comes from, like a Trump supporter, well, it doesn't get in. If it says that, the jab's wrong, it doesn't get in. If it said, and this is all I'm right, you're wrong, isn't it, really? That they won't consider the bit between right and wrong. They just want to stay in there.
But somebody like me or you would never even consider being an autonomous robot. There's a difference between us.
See, I don't know what that is. I mean, my mum's, one of these people who kind of thinks she's awake, if you know what I mean. And but really what she's doing is just repeating what she's seen on certain, sites of people that are awake, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I've read it.
Dad's completely scientific, definitely not into it, and my sister's pretty much the same. So, and it's the same story with so many of us. We're black sheeps. So it's a good question. Is, I mean, my parents were, don't get me wrong, they were intelligent people, and they, got me to question things, but obviously from their point of view. But they definitely didn't get me looking into this kind of stuff. And every time I brought it up, it would clash with their, their belief systems, and they'd be like, oh. And so, the good old family dinners, how they go, you sort of sit there trying not to say anything, and then you say, oh, and it's like, oh God, what did I say? And all goes to crap.
I actually lucked out with family. All three of my brothers are just like me. They're all conscious and awake. And
wow, really? Jeez, that must be nice.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I actually thought that was, a big topic to me too. It was like, man, people that actually deal with this stuff alone, like that's serious. Like, that's a serious issue. I actually got that's why I started my channels, because I actually got to a dark place following all this truth stuff. And I was just like, my goodness, man, like it's never a happy ending. It's always negativity. And no matter how much I looked into it, the worse and worse it would get. And it was just, the reality is a bizarre, odd place, kind of like a Twilight Zone episode that went to hell and LSD or something. I don't know, to be honest with you. It's a bizarre place, but yeah.
It's yeah. Excuse me. Forgot what I was going to say. What were we saying? Yeah. My family pretty much just know. They just don't even mention stuff to me now. So, I mean, if I wouldn't even know if they'd been vaxxed, because I don't think my parents would. My sister, I'm pretty, she's a government employee. I'm pretty sure that she would, but I'm also sure that they would never tell me, because
would you react if your sister or your brother or your dad or your mom came to you with some new information, some theory you never heard of, but it was kind of crazy, and they were saying, please, Otto or Campbell, listen to this. Wouldn't you be open to it? They don't do the same thing though when we approach them. they get bizarre, almost like argumentative. It's almost as if there's some sort of,
A
I don't want
block,
to get
yeah, yeah. A
like a
bit,
spiritual block or something. Like they're just not supposed to see it, almost.
and this is the whole, I guess, where we get into NPCs and all this, and you see, with the whole apocalypse and the veil lifting, the thing is, it's always been this way. We're just seeing it. It's just really being exaggerated so that, I mean, clearly it's for us to see because, the other people aren't seeing it. But what do you think about this whole split? The whole idea of there's an energetic split going on. There's going to be, like a high vibration and a low vibration earth, and some go up and some stay.
Well, what do I think about it? I think anything's possible. I think everything's consciousness, everything's energy. I think that reality's in layers. I think that there are several different versions of this reality and several different versions of other realities, and we're just experiencing the one that the frequency we're tuned into right now. And I think anything's possible. I actually believe that if you truly believe something, you could actually do it. And it's easier to say that than it is to do that. You probably know that. It's just it's easy to say, oh, I believe I can fly, but you don't really believe you can fly. But I actually think if you truly believed it, you probably could levitate, move things with your mind.
I agree.
And I think that may require a whole new branch off of reality for that individual to experience. And maybe even the people there, what you would call an NPC may just be a fragment of another soul that's infinite. Like a version of me would be in that person's reality if that happened to that person. I think we're getting into weird shit now. If you're talking about beliefs, I believe pretty crazy stuff, Otto. I believe some pretty odd stuff, but
it's normal now, though, isn't it?
I don't know. Nowadays, anything's normal. To be honest with you, anything's. Did you hear about the trend, dude? They're putting transgender men in the female prisons and making it where if they assault a female, it's only considered a female conflict. It's not considered. Yeah. I'm like, and my channel is kind of based around like, are you idiots awake yet? Are you dum-dums awake? So that was really easy. I took that one and ran with it. I was like, okay, this is an easy video to ask if people are conscious. Are you guys awake yet? Can you see now? You can't tell there were like dark intentions behind that. Men can go and, just like, oh my goodness. But it feels like talking to a spiritual brick wall.
They used to trickle this stuff, and now it's like a river, isn't it? And they've opened the dam, and they just like this, just let it all out and see who we can get. There was that dude, and literally, he's a weightlifter. He's not transgender. He hasn't had any surgery, nothing like that. But he just identified as a woman for a competition. Just identified as a woman for a competition. Went in, broke the world record. And seriously, the next day he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm a dude again."
That's interesting, man.
And it's on record. They recorded that as a woman's record.
Yeah, welcome to Wally World, woohoo! Where people, I mean, and what's interesting is that the leaders are like, it's fine, it's normal. Shh, pretend it's normal. It's like, are you guys conscious? Yeah. What oddity would you have to see to go, okay, we've gotten a little too bizarre here now. I mean, if you didn't even chop up, you just went, hey, my name's Susan, and pull, squats 500 pounds, and hey, I'm the strongest woman that ever lived.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is it a comedy? Did you see on Babylon B, that's like a satirical site, and they had an article that was like, motorbike rider identifies as cyclists and wins like the Tour de France. So it's like this guy who's a motorbike rider, and he's like, yeah, well, I realized I'm not a motorbike rider, I'm actually a cyclist. And so he goes in the Tour de France on his motorbike and wins. Is
that real?
No, that was parody. But this is the thing. You don't even know anymore.
I almost thought it was.
You don't even know. You don't.
You don't
This is where we are. It's like that. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if that was a real story. I mean, because I just told you a real story about a dude who goes, I'm a woman, now I'm a man, and now he's a world record holder for women's weightlifting. I mean, it's like, yeah, what, I don't know. It's like every step of the way, things are getting weirder, and it's like,
Yeah, they are.
you know, it's like the realm is like knocking, wake up. That didn't wake up. Or how about this? Well, how about this? Well, how about this? And each time it's worse and worse. And what's it going to take?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are all these? I don't know. I mean, I think in the end, like, it's just, I mean, we know it's a story, and I think, you know, I think there's so many more awake people out there than they tell us, and so many more opposing the jab than they tell us, and all the numbers they tell us of the people who are getting it are inflated, because you hear all these stories, everyone's getting it, everyone's getting it. You go and check out videos of people showing you the centers, they're all empty.
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
None of them are full. None of them.
Not once. I haven't seen one time that truck was empty. Everything I've seen, it's just like, come on, man.
It's just all yeah, it's just all weird. And if it was true, then yeah, why do they have to go door to door, and why do they have to force it and make it mandatory? And I mean, oh God, I had a bloody masked Tata in a car. These people who wear them in cars. And I was just driving down the road, and it was raining, middle of winter, and so I'm, you know, like doing the speed limit, and this guy's like behind me. I could see him. And he's like, and then there's this little gap, and he, you know, goes up and gets in the other lane and goes around me. Then he pulls in front of me, then slows down. I'm like, what the hell is this guy? So I just changed lanes because there's a red light. Rock off and look at, it's got a mask on, and I just wound my window down and said, "Are you okay, mate? What are you doing?" He's a bit oxygen deficient, and he wouldn't even take the mask off to talk to me. He's just going, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm like, mate, I can't hear you. I seriously can't hear what you're saying.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're experiencing the dimensional shift happen now.
Well,
you know? Like, you're literally talking to a guy that's in a more dense or lower frequency than you are, and you're communicating. That's why I say I think humans are actually fourth dimensional beings. Like we say we're in the third dimension, but I think we're actually fourth dimensional beings because we exist in the spirit as well. Yeah, maybe there is some sort of shift happening, and we're actually like leaving these intelligent folks in their own reality.
Yeah. It's like we've been pulled down or restricted from going up, because, you know, like all the, you know, awake people that can see what's going on, because clearly our mindset doesn't match this realm. Like, what's going on? It's
not even close.
But it seems to match a lot of people's mindset, doesn't it? All these people who, but at the same time, yeah, that, why are they all so aggressive and so annoyed? Because this is the whole shift thing is, do you know Laura?
Yeah. She put out a song recently that was actually really good.
What, a song?
Yeah. She put out a song like 2 videos ago, and I didn't even think it was
does she?
Yeah, she sings. She had a drum. It was actually good. I mean, it was something I would meditate to. I was like, is that actually her? This is the type of stuff I search for. I don't even know what kind of music to call it, to be honest with you. But like,
yeah, well, she's in Moldova, so she's up near Russia, so it's probably sort of, I guess, a traditional bass kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sub to her. I've seen a few of her videos, probably 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah, she's got great energy. Yeah, but she was saying she got on a bus and was trying to pay the bus driver, and the bus driver couldn't. Did you see that? Couldn't see it. And then someone got on behind her, and the bus driver immediately saw them. And then I got a comment from someone saying the same thing happened to them, and they were at a shopping, like trying to buy food and waiting in line to be called up, and someone walked up behind them and got called up, and they were just standing there going, "Can't you see me?" So this is this is the thing. Are these people on a vibration where they literally can't see us? Because, you know, we can't see, you know, we've got this much vision, right? We can't see infrared and we can't see into the purples. So is their range of vision, are we getting out of their range of vision vibration wise? You know, and this is how everyone says the vibration's rising, right? And that's literally what it is. Vibration is sound and light. So are we getting out of there? And is this why to us they just look like they're getting more and more I don't want to say pathetic, but you know what I mean. They are
bizarre.
getting more and more looking
Bizarre's a great
like
word.
these kind of,
Nightmarish.
yeah,
Bizarre.
these sort of trollish, lower, freaky,
Yeah.
dimensional things.
Like so exposed, right? Like the mask fell off now.
Yeah,
Like, whoa. So, you know,
It's
you know
got
what I'm saying?
replaced with another one,
Yeah.
and this, I was thinking about the three wise monkeys. You know, see no evil, speak no evil, and hear no evil. And you know, and you're just mentioning like the dimensions. You know, if we're in the third and there's a fourth and the second, I mean, I wonder if that's, you know, the third dimension is speak no evil, right? That's what everyone's got the mask on at the moment. In the first dimension, you see no evil, and you speak no evil, and then when you transcend up to the third, you hear no evil because you're above that. So you don't have all that crap in your head anymore. I don't know. It just came to me. But
Yeah.
I think there's something dimensionally happening. It's in all the old scripts as well. You know, they all talk about this time, and it's in the Bible too. I mean, that's where we get the word apocalypse, the unveiling. Howdy was talking about an American, one of the American native tribes, literally talk about there's going to be like a frequency shift, and some will go up and some will not.
Yeah, that's actually what I was preaching probably like a year and a half ago, probably right when I started my channel, about 2 years ago now. Right when I started my channel, that's what I was preaching, that there was going to be some sort of conscious shift. That's when the medicine was a lot stronger back then, but there was going to be some sort of consciousness shift, and that there was actually going to be a split, that reality is actually speaking it to us. Actually look at reality as if it's communicating with you. It's a two-party system, two wings of the same bird, you know, but we recognize duality. And even though there is no such thing as good or evil, we recognize them as concepts. And I actually thought this is getting to a head. It's getting to a point where either we're not even going to be compatible anymore, or we're going to have to go our own ways. And I thought that the most just thing that any consciousness would do would be to put everybody where they belong. But that's just my crazy old conspiracy theory mindset.
Yeah. Well, look at what each, you know, side, each perspective, you know, wants for the future. It's like we've got the, you know, the mask wearers, and they want everyone to get the prick and for it to go back to normal, back to the way it was.
Literally
You know,
indifferent.
our side are like, nah, we want to burn that. Like, nah, we're going there. We want to go and get on land and grow good food and get communities and build real things. And so the visions of where we're going is completely different too. So it's like, you know, if we create everything through thought and intention, then that's what we're doing, right? And that could be the split, is there's two frequencies that are opposing, that are building, and they can't contain the same space because they can't. I mean, that's physics, right? Two opposing forces cannot be contained in the same space. One has to.
I'd have to take your word for it. I'm not a physicist. I have no idea. It
Yeah.
sounds right.
So like if you think of a magnet, you can't have the positive and the negative poles in the same place. That you can't do it. They have to split. And yeah, so I mean, maybe that's, you know, because everything is energy, right? Everything's vibration. So that would just be, you know, it doesn't even have to be anything to do with the creator. That could literally just be a physical thing that happens because of vibration. It just has to separate because it can't contain the same space.
So you think it's like a spiritual evolution, or like a consciousness evolution?
Yeah, I do. I mean, whichever word you want to put on it, you know, being able to see more, whatever, because, you know, it's like everyone who's seeing more we're on, you can just feel it. We're on a higher vibration than people who don't see. And, you know, the way I look at life is this is just really, it's just a big, you know, I know a lot of people call it a prison. Maybe it's just a reform school, but I see it more as a school. You know, we're here to learn, and everything's perspective. So it can be a prison if you believe that, for sure. You know, we know some people turn it into hell, but we also know some people turn it into heaven. So it is intention, and we do get to build what we want. But ultimately, I think we're here to learn lessons and to evolve. You know, I think we choose our parents and our circumstances to give us certain perspectives, and then yeah, I think we have choice, but it's kind of, we do have a path, if you know what I mean. But within that we have choice. You know, so you can completely stuff this up and then come back and have to repeat the whole same thing again.
Yeah. Okay. So you believe in like repeating.
Yeah.
So
Or you can learn a lot in one lifetime, and we hear about these people, right?
So what would you say to someone that said, well, why does the classroom have to have Satan in it? Like, like why does, if it's a learning, why does the school have to be in hell? What would you say to that?
I would say hell's a perspective. I mean, this is the thing. Everyone says, or if it's like this concept of, if you see it, if it's on TV, on the movies, on the music, then it's there for a reason. It's been put there. It's part of the script, right?
Yeah.
So everything is scripted. But then in the same breath, they'll say, but it's bad because of this. Isn't that part of the script? Isn't that just part of the script?
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's like, like Francis Bacon, Shakespeare, whoever it was, said, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So things just happen, but it's when we stop and think about them that we get this, that was right, that was wrong. So they can easily spend all their time showing us how bad the world is, and they do. You go and learn history. What do they teach you? Here's the wars. Here's how many people we've killed. This is all the people, all the things we've destroyed. They don't tell you, they don't teach you about, we used to have free energy and all this kind of stuff, do they? Because it's got to be bad. And so if you think it's bad, it is. But in the same breath, I mean, we know there's people out there, and if you went up to them and said, oh man, this place is so bad, it's a prison, they'd be like, what? Dude, this is heaven. What are you talking about? So it's, it's like a big holodeck, right? We get to choose.
So do you think being a truther is more like a negative thing than potentially, because it does kind of lead more into a darker matter? And I guess you could have a positive perspective, but when you actually see what's really going on in the world, it's very difficult to see it as like this flowery, butterfly. You see humans being harvested for their organs, people being treated like animals. It's just like, that's an interesting classroom.
It is.
Why all that stuff? Why are there people eating baby brains to stay young, if that's a thing? It's like, my goodness, this is a really bizarre class, if it is a classroom. I don't understand
if it is,
it must be to teach us something. I don't know what I'm supposed to learn from that, but
well, you learn what's right and wrong in your perspective, or in your ethical values. You learn what is human, acting like a human, and what's not. I mean, maybe we're in year one. Maybe this is the basic class, and we have to learn. We have to start with the little stuff. This is good. This is bad. And then we're doing perspective, so I shouldn't even really say that. But I think it's all about, we've got to, we have all these gifts, but the world's full of these gifted people who do nothing. Isn't it? You've got to do something, and it's also full of people who aren't so gifted, who do these amazing things, because it's what you do. It's people are what they do, not what they say. The world's full of people who talk, but don't have much to back it up. I think we need to switch into more. I'm always about, don't tell people what to do. Do it, and then go, hey, look what I did. Then people will listen. You can't tell anyone what to do. It's just like, if I tell you what to do, you're going to go, you can shove that up your butt, Cambell. And this is the other thing, isn't it? People like us. People tell us what to do, and we're like, right, it's on. How dare you tell me what to do? But then we have the masses, right? Why are you doing that? Oh, the government told me to. I mean, that's so diametrically opposed to how we see life, isn't it? Like, your brain just like went, what?
Yeah, I brought that same point up before. Just like the idea of even behaving that way puts a sick feeling in my stomach, to be like that submissive. because the government, it's almost like, oh, I mean, it is so, you're right, diametrically opposed to the way I feel naturally as a spiritful human being. It's just like, I can't even accept that level of weakness. It's disgusting to me, to be
It
honest.
is. And this is, it's also getting more pronounced. I mean, we knew people, you know, we knew that, you know, 3 years ago, before all this, we knew there were TV watchers and there were people who were systemites and all this kind of stuff, but we didn't realize to what level.
Mhm.
And that's what we're seeing now. So it's just, everything's just getting so, well, polarized, I guess, really, isn't it? You know, we're seeing the polarities, we're seeing the negative as a definite thing, and then, you know, the what we see as positive. And again, it's all perspective, right? If you've, you know, this is a thing, maybe we've been here in this realm a long time and we're ready, we've learnt lessons and we're ready to go, but maybe there's a lot of people who have just come in and they're on their first go and they're not ready, you know, so they're still got the mindset of second dimension, so they're still into the right wrong, listen to mummy daddy, you know, we need, you know, someone to look after us kind of mindset.
Like a spiritual adolescent.
Yeah. And so they have to stay here longer to learn, you know, to evolve up to a level where then they can jump to the next dimension or frequency or whatever. And so we're seeing them, we're ready to jump, and they're sort of, you know, like we're like year 12 and they're the grade ones, if you know what I mean. Yeah. We're about to take off into the real world, and they're only just sort of hitting school and getting into the indoctrination, and it's not going to be until they hit their teenage years and start listening to a bit of Led Zeppelin and rebelling and stuff, you know, that they're going to start seeing anything.
Yeah.
Because
that was one idea I had as well, but I just, I don't know, I've kind of come to the conclusion that people are just super easy to, I mean, it's an unfortunate conclusion, but just people are very easy to control. They just, it's cognitive dissonance. They don't want to look at it, or they know if they do look at it, they've got to go and, you know, do something not so nice. And there's plenty of reasons why people won't deal with the reality. I just think it's, to a degree, it's human weakness. The human being soul is a very fragile little creature, and we can actually deal with some pretty intense stuff. Human beings, we can deal with some pretty intense situations, but for the most part, people do exactly what you tell them to do. I mean, I joked around and said I could have a society that walked around like this. I could have a society where people would slap each other, and that's how they would ask each other out on a date. I said, just, if you gave me a group of kids and they never experienced any reality outside the one I'm showing them, I could have them behave any type of way. And that would be normal. And the ones that didn't walk like this and went, I'm not walking like that, and kept their hands in their pockets, would be the truthers of that society. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, it is what it is, man. It's frustrating to deal with if you have a good heart, you care about people, you want to see people, you want people to see what you see, but at the same time, you really can't change the way people behave.
Yeah, well,
or what they're willing to absorb.
I think we've got to keep in mind that, you know, we may want, but listen, you know, listen to the wording of that, right? We may want someone to see what we see, but that's us. And that's us trying to be right. That's not, and yeah, I understand that it's coming from a place of, I just want to help them. If they could see what I see, then you know, they wouldn't get the prick and all this kind of stuff. But it's still, you know, it really is a place of, I'm right, I'm wrong. You know, if you think of perspective and everyone's in their own little world, and that everyone's on a different, you know, level of understanding, well, maybe for them, it's right on their journey. They're in the right place for them. Maybe we're all in the right place for where we are. You know, maybe they need to, you know, maybe that's their biggest lesson to get them going right. They trust the government with everything without questioning. They get Bill's prick and it all goes badly, and then, you know, that could be the catalyst to start them thinking, you know, whether in this lifetime or the next. We just, but I think, you know, like this whole thing of being neutral, it's, again, we've been given a perspective that it's bad, you know, that, oh, it's uncaring and how dare you, and not want to get in there and force your opinion on people. But is it, you know, if you just let people make their mistakes and learn from them, and you don't get in there and you live your life the way you want it, is that, you know, that sounds all right to me. you know, and that's really what neutral is, isn't it? It's not, it's when you're not judging good or bad, you're just accepting, yeah, that person's fine where they are. You know, if they need help, I'll help them. If they don't, well, that's where they are on their journey, and that's where they need to be. You know, if I go in there and start meddling and pushing stuff, maybe I'm, you know, maybe I'm restricting them. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing.
So, Otto, do you think that that reality is exactly the way it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I pretty much, yeah. I think everything happens for a reason. It's all unfolding. Yeah. All right, throw that one in there. Because, you know, I mean, look how many people have been woken up recently. Look what's going to happen with the world. I mean, you know, you can see this as a bad thing, or you can see it as an awesome thing. We're finally getting rid of the parasites, right? I mean, that's what we all want. True. You know, I mean, why? And again, it's perspective, isn't it? You know, you can watch the news and you can think, oh my God, the world is the worst place. It's hell. Everyone's out there trying to kill me. Or you can get another perspective and go, oh, wow, it's a great awakening. Wow, everyone's waking up. Wow, we're building a new world. And through those different perspectives will make you take different actions, clearly.
Yeah.
And so that's how we go, how we go forward and how they go forward. Because there is no, the only constant is change, right? So even if that change is going around in a circle, but I think everyone's where they're supposed to be. And, some of us want to, we've got the capacity to ask questions and to want to learn more, but, clearly we're on a different vibration to these people who don't want to learn it. I mean, we know, you sit down with these people and you can feel you're on a different frequency. You can't, we've got all the language right. We couldn't connect. Excuse me. I couldn't connect with them. The vibe just wasn't right. It didn't feel right. They weren't on my level. This is our language. Like it's there. It's all in our language. Everything really. I mean, the biggest spell is that they've taught us to believe that words have different meanings than they do. I think that's the biggest spell. We just don't understand what we're saying.
Yeah, I kind of got off the word spellage bandwagon. I think it's about intention. I think it's I think intention matters because, like I said, if I said, here, Otto, stand here, and I mustered up as much frustration, anger, and I mean, I was just piercing your eyes with daggers when I was saying, I just want you to die, and your brain's gonna boil with as much hatred. As long as you are aware, you ain't gonna give two damns what I say to you, two damns. And I could walk up to anybody and say one word to them based off their appearance to get them so mad that they would want to fight me. So words have power. People who have very little amounts of power themselves. The more power you got, the less power the words got.
Yeah, I agree totally. The more you understand who you are and where you are, the less power any of this has on you, because you understand it's all a construct, and that people just, they're reacting, aren't they? They're not acting. They're just reacting on. Like you ask them where they get their beliefs from, and no one can tell you. All these people, they don't know. I don't know. School. Why do you do that? I don't know. It's like Mark Dice was walking around like on July 4th, asking people what Joe Biden's last job was, and no one knew. Like no one, like no at all, and they were all Biden supporters. Like he's like, oh, did you? What was his last job? Oh, I don't know. Oh, did you vote? Yeah, who'd you vote for? Biden. Oh, you don't know what he did before? No.
For like 50 years before.
Have you ever wondered why he's like a multi-millionaire, but all he's ever done is have a government job? How does that work? What's he got? 5 houses?
And that's what I mean, dude. Like what you just said. You say it with a smile on your face, and it is kind of laughy because you're talking to another truth that understands you. But in actual reality, the fact that people can see what you just said, and that's not, this isn't rocket science here. We didn't do anything. masterful. This is a conversation a 10-year-old could have.
Yeah.
And they don't see it still. Isn't that odd to you?
It's very odd.
I've been hating on this whole magical spell thing lately, and it's almost the only thing I can come up with as to how people are still disconnected, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, because
They,
Hunter came out, he actually did it was mainstream, wasn't it? That interview that he did, and he's saying, oh yeah, I've smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone in the world. It's like, what? That was, yeah. It was on like a CNN interview, and they were clearly trying to bring him out to say, oh yeah, because the cat was out of the bag, and they were trying to say, oh yeah, he had a problem, but now he's all good, now he's all better, and they were trying to put it forward as that, but it just, he's such an idiot. He started talking about, oh yeah, I've smoked more Parmesan cheese. I used to, and it was just a complete train wreck. But people, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were sitting there going, oh, how brave of him. He used to be on the crackers and now he's all good. Look at him, how brave. I don't know. Maybe they do, where we're sitting there just going, what the hell?
oh, dude, they do. They literally probably see a hero. Like they see a hero. I said to a buddy of mine recently, I said, man, the definition of the word heroes changed, because back in my day, somebody had to do some pretty intense stuff to be even considered a hero. Nowadays, like somebody changes their name, they get some boob implants, they get a wig. And it's like, man, look at this, what this guy's doing for America, everybody. Look at this hero we got over here, didn't even, take step two, but my goodness, is she a hero? We're not going to call him a dude no more. We're going to call it a she. We're all going to pretend. We're all going to go into our little pretend mode now, everybody, where we're all schizophrenic.
Oh, God.
Let's pretend that this is happening.
That whole thing, I mean, I know how to solve that. You just get one of these people, take them in, get a blood test. Say, tell me, is that blood male or female?
Mm-hmm.
Every single chromosome, that's where the male or female is in the chromosomes of every single cell in your body. It's got nothing to do with the bits hanging off you. People can be born with, gender dysmorphia and they're still male or female based on their chromosomes. Mm. It's just like, they don't science. They have no idea what they're talking about. It's just, but how do you get to that point? How do you get to a point of just I don't know, total belief it's just, and especially when they put up these people who we just see as, like Caitlyn Jenner, and we're just like, that's a joke. And then they're seriously like, oh, she's so brave. And it's like, she wasn't that brave. I'm sure she had an anesthetic. So, come on, let's talk about the real heroes here.
Brave than pretending to be a chick with some drugs. And
but yeah, people used to have to run into war and risk literally getting their limbs cut off to be a hero. Now you just go into surgery and pay someone to cut a limb off and you're a hero. It's like, well,
yeah, that last genius you were talking about, they'd probably seen that person. Man, look, oh my gosh, this is a hero to me. It's like, there's a split coming, boys, something's going on. Or I make everything comical and crack jokes and I'm animated, but in actual reality, if you think about that for a second, is that they're asking human beings to pretend something that they can clearly see isn't happening. That's odd. That's like scary odd. They're asking people to pretend stuff they can't see isn't there. That's bizarre.
So, I mean, that's what they've been doing to us our whole lives. We used to be there, and now we're suddenly, which means that everyone on the lower vibration would still be seeing evidence. And I guess, we always prove ourselves right. That's what our brain loves to do. Our mind, it loves to prove you right, which again is the problem with judgment, because you get stuck in this cycle. But, so if you believe all this stuff, there's enough evidence out there to prove yourself right. That's for sure. All you have to do is sit down in front of the mainstream media and you'll be proved right all day long. And the only difference I can that there seems to be is that they just won't think. They can't get out of that polarity. They just have to judge. Everything has to be right or wrong, which basically is based on everything that's not what I believe is wrong. and they can't get into that and ask questions. They just don't. Seems like a frequency thing to me.
Yeah,
because
it's
that
either a frequency thing or
they could be quite happy on their lower frequency, and it could be normal to them, and we're just looking down from above, just freaking out, going, "What the hell is going on there?"
wouldn't it suck to find out that they were going in the right direction on and we were the dumb in the wrong direction? that would be a silly ending to this crap show.
And we all get the creep and die, and they're all like, "Yay!"
Yeah. All you had to do was be ignorant and stay in the matrix, and everything would have been fine, Chris. But you just had this obsession with truth.
You had to think, didn't you?
Yeah, you had to think.
I had to use your God-given powers. Oh my God. But I mean,
this is a subject I could talk about for 5 hours, by the way, Otto.
You what?
This is a subject I could talk about for 5 hours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What is going on in this place?
Haven't got all day, but I mean,
I kind of want to ask your opinion about something I talked about earlier. How long are you doing this for? Just out of curiosity, do we still got a minute?
Yeah. How long have I been doing what? Spiral Up?
The video, yeah.
I don't know. God, I don't even know what day it is. 2 years, 18 months, 2 years, something like that.
Huh?
I started it after my auto channel. So probably.
Oh, you started Spiral Up.
Yeah, Spiral Up started. Yeah.
I mean, how much longer are we doing this?
Sorry. Yeah. What's the time now?
Okay, cool. I was wondering.
Yeah, we can go another 30 or so.
Okay, cool. Your opinion on do you think it's possible, and do you think we're technologically advanced enough to restart humanity with new rules and have a normal humanity? Do you think that's possible?
Definitely.
And why don't we do that?
Obviously, if we have to start without all the tools, all the technology, all the infrastructure to create things, then clearly it's going to take a lot longer because we'll have to rebuild that. But if we can, keep the technology that we've got but take it in a new direction, I mean, just amazingly fast, the world would be completely different because we've got everything we need. It's just being used against us.
Yeah.
You imagine if the internet was free and YouTube and that, and people who were inventing all these free energy devices were just putting them out and everyone was making them. And imagine if they were promoted. Imagine that. Imagine if YouTube was completely flipped and all these crazies, they could put it up, but they weren't promoted by YouTube, but anything that was beneficial, like real health remedies, free energy. Imagine if that was promoted. So when you went on one of these platforms, that was the main thing you saw. Imagine what that would do just to the psychology of the realm, just to because obviously we all collectively create, don't we?
Yeah.
And they've got us in a pessimistic, and it's always been that way, right? We're always heading towards doom. There's always an asteroid going to come and wipe us out. There's always some deadly threat, a war.
And nothing ever happens.
Yeah, and nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. I mean, even with these wars, I mean, I've got to be careful. I understand, a lot of this stuff happens, a lot of killings and that happen, but, I think even wars are just blown up, excuse the pun, but I think the numbers in that are just blown up because most people can't prove it. It's always in a land far away.
I mean, just even thinking about the psychology behind asking another man, here, take this gun. You're going to run towards those other guys with guns and they're going to be shooting at you. And then you have to be shooting at them and stuff. And then there's going to be these bombs and stuff that we're throwing in to kill the bad guys in the back. So you're going to hear explosions and you're going to see your friends' intestines. But don't worry, you're patriotic. That's psychotic. Like the type of mentality of person to go to war to begin with. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. It's a psychotic behavior.
especially married, people, men with families, leaving their families.
Yeah.
But this is, men are supposed to be around the family so that they can protect the family, but somehow they've got this narrative of, big bad enemy in foreign country. So if we don't go there and kill, they'll come here and kill, and they get people believing that. And obviously, patriot, you've got to be a patriot, it's all patriotic. And then, of course, when the wars happen, if you don't go and you're a 20-year-old fit, healthy male walking around, the townsfolk will come and start poking you with pitchforks because they believe the lie, the narrative. But I mean, you think about how ridiculous that is. You get all the men to go off to war, then you just need to bring an army in because there's no one left to defend, right?
Yeah. Well, I said the other day, like, what outside of a direct attack would warrant, okay, now gather up a group of these guys. We're going to go over there and start killing groups of those guys. Those guys, by the way, never had power to begin with. They take order from the top down. They're just foot soldiers, unfortunately. But these people have to suffer, and these people have to suffer because of some sort of conflict that was created by a machine anyways. It's such a bizarre reality. And they're going to go over there and shoot these kids, and these kids are going to shoot them. And then, something cool is going to come out of it, this conflict. It's just all a show. And it's always been a show. And the wars, like you said, I think they've all been inflated, are just there to keep it in people's psychology. Oh, no, we're going to go to war. Because people are really easy to control when they're scared, aren't they?
Yeah, humans are just these.
Everything's bad, everything's evil all the time. That's a very easy person that's willing to just hand away their freedom. A little scared person.
They love that. Humans are bad. Humans are aggressive. Don't trust them. Don't trust your neighbor. I mean, you look back in the 70s, everyone knew their neighbor. Everyone would go out on the weekend and be chatting and be around each other's house. Now, no one.
Lock their door.
And it's not that no one doesn't know their neighbor. People don't want to know their neighbors now. They go home and it's like, oh my God, the neighbor looked at me. Oh, they said hello. What the hell do I do? Oh my God, they've got an American flag up. Oh, that's true. And this is all programming. It's all programming. Look at all the movies and all the shows of, they make these strangers and, next thing you know, they're getting killed and all this stuff. And, all these murders and robberies and that, they're just from random people, right? No one really knows who, just random people just want to come and hurt you. But the truth of that is, it's what you expect is what you'll get. If you sit there worried about people breaking in your house, they will. Because if you look at the stats, people who get broken into more than once. They get broken into a lot. And then,
really?
Yeah, it's seriously, you look into it. Some people never, ever get robbed, ever. Or it might happen once as a, and then that's it. But then you get these other people and it's just, and of course people say, well, it's probably the suburb they live in or the situation or the socioeconomics, but that's not true either. Because if you look at that, there are in those societies some people who get robbed all the time. We draw to ourselves this kind of stuff. If you think everyone's bad and they're out to get you, well, guess what? Your mind will point that out to you. You'll walk down the street with 100 really good people, and you'll see the one person who's dodgy, and you'll be like, yeah, see, it's everywhere, and you start building that up. You give off that energy, and then this person walking by your house, they don't know why. They just pick up this energy of like, oh, that'll be a good house to rob. And that's, and that's how it works. Because, I've said it all the time. Some people just get stuff it's always bad, right? Oh, what happened to you this week? Oh, well, this week, oh my God, this blew up and this blew up.
I used to be that person for a very long time. I know exactly that type of person. I used to be that person.
And are things different now that you change? Like that you think differently? Like are things different?
Oh, completely different. It's like being in a different reality. You already know. It's clearly like operating with a different consciousness or a different level of consciousness, like one step further away from the meat body people.
And that's the thing. We create it, and that's all that they can control is what we think. Well, they, it, whatever.
So, do you think it's a they, or do you think it's an it?
I think at the top, it's an it. It's an intelligence of some kind, whether that be, Michael from the AI, or the demiurge, or whether they're the same thing, just, you know, because how would you describe, you know, a computer virus AI system, you know, 500 years ago? But it seems to be one intelligence, or if you want to call it that, that's different from us, completely ethically different, can't create, and that's why it needs us, because we're the creators, right? We can create by thinking. So if it can control what we think, it is the creator. It creates by default, right? And this is the game. You know, and this is what media is. You know, media is the goddess of illusion from ancient societies, and so if they can build that illusion and get more than, say, 50% of people to believe it, then that's the overall, you know, reality. And then we have our own personal reality as well.
You believe in manifestation, the power of belief, that if you take enough people and they all believe enough in one thing, it will manifest it.
Definitely, 100%. I definitely, it's like you were saying before, I think if you believe you could fly, that you could, but I don't think that anyone, you know, or very few people down here can actually get to that level of belief.
Yeah, to unbelieve something you already
believe. Well, and exactly, and that's what most of it is unbelieving what we've been taught.
Yeah, it's letting go.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a kid and raised it and you just taught it from day dot, yeah, you can fly, and you showed it evidence, well, yeah, it'd be flying around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, we've got the placebo effect, right? Give someone sugar, they believe it works, they'll cure themselves. We've got like hypnosis. You can make people see through things that are solid, and you can make people see things that aren't there. So it's a completely malleable, you know, reality. It's this whole fixed reality, which is what they want us to believe. You know, the story, we've worked it all out. Here you are. It's all fixed. You know, that's just a box, isn't it? And it's so untrue. Yeah. It's that's the box we're building for ourselves. Yeah.
We're shown is untrue. Like, seriously, every single thing we're shown by it, whatever it is just untrue. Like you were just saying about, you start watching a show, it's decent, but then it just becomes negative and everyone's killing everybody. And it's just the total, I think human beings, most of them, outside of the one or two psychopaths here or there, would actually come together. They actually show us the opposite of what it would always be. And it's just like, it kind of trains us into this way of thinking that we're this little mouth breathing monkey man, and we're really not. We're actually something beautiful and divine and infinite. But most people will never experience that reality. Most people will never see it from that point of view. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's supposed to be that way. Maybe they're at just another level. But they're probably going through the same process that we went through, and maybe we're just seeing things a little differently now. But yeah, I'm still going to shake that cage forever and say, wake up, guys. You know, and I'm going to be mean and I'm going to curse them out and it's going to be funny. But yeah, my actual personality is a little different than this guy's. It's similar. Yeah. Changed a little bit lately in the past year. But I just, you know, what's funny is that for the first like 6 to 9 months of my channel, the meditations were incredible. I mean, like in another dimension. And then I kind of, like I said, the medicine got a little bit weak, but I just stopped actually sitting and talking to myself. I just sat down and said to myself, like, what do I actually want to do with the channel? Because it's almost 2 years old now, and I had no direction. I wasn't a spiritual channel or truth. I was just talking. And I just said to myself, well, what am I decent at? Like, I can be funny, I can do this or that. I said, I'll make it a comedy channel, you know. There are people that are going like the spiritual route, you know, like Otto, you know, and I'll do what I'm good at. So I kind of made it that. I don't think that curse words are so bad. I grew up in a sailor family, so everybody around me cursed.
They're just words then.
Yeah. If curse words were negative, everybody I know would have been dead about 40 years ago. So, but you know, I have no problem with it, but I do joke around a lot, and I try to make it humorous, but I do talk about some really unhumorous stuff, so it kind of puts me in this weird dynamic lately. But yeah, I hope people are liking it, to be honest.
Yeah. And of course, I'll leave the link below, guys. Go check out Christopher, but do be aware he may drop an F-bomb or two. But this is the thing, like, we need all these different perspectives because the world's full of different people, right? You're going to connect with some people, I'm going to connect with other people, or, you know, they'll connect with us, whatever. But, you know, it's not like there's one person who's going to connect with everyone. So we all have to get out there and do what feels right. And I think comedy's or parody is great. I do a lot of that. I've got God, I've got another channel I do with a friend, Instant Karma Project. We've already been kicked off YouTube, so we're just on BitChute now. But we do a lot of that parody because, so this stuff is, if you go down the what have they been doing conspiracies, like what's been going on, that's dark stuff. And so you don't want to get into that mindset. I mean, my point of view is, well, I'll have a look. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, I understand that. That's all I need to know. I'm going to go. And then it should be solutions. It should be, okay, I see that. How do I fix it? You don't need to keep looking at it and going, there's the problem, because focus, right? Focus, guys. What you focus on grows. So you go, that really sucks. I think I want to change that. Well, solutions, just start going into solutions. And that's what they don't want us to do. That's it's, they give you the solution, right? And if you believe them and say, yeah, okay, mummy and daddy, thanks for telling me, then they gotcha. They're just going to use you to create the world they want. And they want a world of confusion, or whatever. As far as we know, because if it didn't, then why is there so much war? It's like that question, have you ever met anyone who wanted to start a war?
Never. And if you did, you just found a psychotic.
Yeah, exactly. If you did, that's not that. That is a person, actually. It's not a people, it's a person.
Yeah. No human being in their right mind wants to hold a rifle and shoot at somebody else. It's just, come on.
Of course not. So, and that should tell us that these people are different to us. Even if they're the same physically and that, they're definitely different ethically, and they come from a different, place, and they want different things to us. So that makes them not us. But I think in the grand scheme, they are. I mean, do you know the story of the demiurge and, the Archon and all this, and the creation and and Gaia. So basically Gaia was, is Earth, the Earth goddess. And when she was creating the Earth, something happened, the schism, they call it. And the Archon was created, and it unintentionally, and it was a negative. It was like the opposite, like the polar sort of opposite to the Earth. And so the Earth and the people, beings who inhabit it, were created first, spiritually, but the Archon came through physically first. And so it's insane. It's mentally insane. And it thinks it's God, or it wants to be God. And so literally it's trying to create its own reality that it can be God of down here. And look what's going on, right? And the way to do that is to invert everything, because it's the polar opposite of the creation. So it doesn't really want to destroy the creation, because of course then it would destroy itself. It just wants to be God of it. But its creation is our hell, right? Basically, that's hell. And so
what's scary is that actually makes more sense to the observable reality to me, in my personal opinion, than this is a spiritual learning ground. That this is some sort of like demonic realm where this crazy God dude lost his mind in the process of the creation. Of course, something bad had to go happen 13 seconds into it. They bashed the thing, and now this psychopath's with us for eternity. We have this crazy God dude like doing all this crazy stuff. That would actually make more sense to me than
I mean, this is the thing. It does, yeah. It's like we all choose. Oh, yeah, this will be great. We're going to the best, university ever. And we get down here, and suddenly there's a psycho principal in charge, and we're like, "Hey, God, what happened?" Yeah, that's what I felt like when I got here. When I was like, my first memories are just like, "Hang on, I'm in the wrong place." And everyone kept on telling me, "No, you're in the right place," and I'm like, "No, this is not the right place."
Do you remember how old you were when you had that thought?
Oh, like 2. Very, 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 very young.
I don't even remember anything from when
I was. Like I was just confused. Like my first school, and I would have been 4, I think, because we had like prep, which was like pre-grade 1. It actually we had nuns, right? We actually had like a convent and nuns, like, you know, back in the 70s. And so, you know, there was a lot of Catholics around, and I just at that age realized that all these people would go to church and dress up and look all good and be, oh yes, and smiles and that. Oh. And then during the week, you know, that they'd be yelling and angry, and they wouldn't be taking the homeless people into their home and feeding them. They wouldn't be doing what they said that they would do. And so I was just like, these guys were all a bunch of
actors,
liars. And so at that point, it was like, unless you can prove to me that you're an ethical person, why would I listen to what you're saying? So I kind of made that decision early, because, yeah, you understand that most people are just full of crap. They're just spouting opinion that's based on nothing but someone else's opinion who they got it from. It's just like this stupid game of Chinese whispers. And when you get to hear, like, the message is so distorted, it's just like, oh my God. But they think they're right. You know, ignorance is bliss. Because like my godfather, I was christened. I was even baptized.
Right. That's the important part, the belief. They believe they're right.
Yeah.
And that's overrides everything. Overrides everything.
Yep. And just as we think we're right and we see the proof for that, they see the proof that they're right.
Amen. Yeah.
That's what your RAS does. It proves you right. So, you know, you can choose your perspective and you'll be proven right. And this is the thing, like, you can stay there, or you can go, well, maybe there's more to this. And that's the whole difference, isn't it? Just that one question. Maybe I haven't got the full picture. And then off you go. But people, what's that saying about things and people? I was trying to remember it last night. You know, we should, you know, respect people and own things, but we respect things and own people, or something like that. You know, people are so built up on this physical appearance. I mean, and we see it, you know, like Instagram, TikTok, right? All this kind of stuff. It's all this facade, which, of course, right, we see this in history. Everything's been covered up. And people are more interested in building this facade and showing it to the world and saying, this is who I am, than they are in actually becoming the person that they would actually like to be seen as.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. It's a front. Everything's been like that, especially with social media.
It's all been
always perfect for them.
Externalized.
Yeah.
And they give them the proof too, right? Oh, look at this. You know, the kids are on TikTok going, oh my God, this person's got 1 million subscribers, you know, and they think everyone loves them. It must be amazing. Okay, I'm going to twerk. You know, and seriously, this is happening.
It's a truth or seed, Otto. I think we come with some sort of truth or seed or something built into us, because we can play that game too. We could be the same guy that's watching sports and eating hot dogs and, you know, watching NASCAR. We could play those roles just as well as they could, but we choose a different path for some reason.
So
something different.
Let me ask you this then. Why are you here?
That's a bizarre question. Why am I here? If I had to, I don't know. Actually, I can't answer that question. I don't know why I'm here, but if I had to guess, I would say it was to grow and learn. If I had to guess, to grow and learn. Yeah.
I mean, you've heard about the 144,000.
Yeah.
And they're not, you know, the warriors of the rainbow and all this, which of course they've usurped, right, with all this bloody SJW crap and stealing the rainbows. But ever since I can remember, like when I said, my first thoughts were, I'm in the wrong place. You know, I've bought a plane ticket, I've landed, it's the wrong destination, but everyone around me is telling me, no, this is the right place, you're in the right place. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And that was kind of my first, you know, thoughts. But after that, my earliest thoughts were seriously that I'm here to fight a war. I'm here to fight some kind of battle. And that didn't really make a lot of sense, because obviously my only interpretation of war was, you know, the movies, right? And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm picking up a gun and going out and killing people. What? I'm not, that doesn't make sense. But I think maybe a lot of us are here for that, you know? There's a battle going on, right? Maybe maybe some of us have chosen to come in at this time to help. You know, it's like a jailbreak, right? You know, we know the demiurge, this crazy, insane dude, is trying to take control, and maybe we're a rescue team.
Yeah, I've said that before. I think that, let's say, for example, we are extra dimensional beings, we're fourth dimensional beings, we're spirit combined with physical. We still can only do our job based on what we have access to. All this spiritual talk, and I was like, guys, still there's work to be done here in this place, and it's just again, I could preach that until I'm blue in the face, but really, what we need is numbers. There wouldn't even be a fight. I guarantee, if humanity came together, there wouldn't even be a fight. The people, the little wizard behind the curtain would be this decrepit little.
These people are cowards.
Yeah, they're cowards. People. And people, if we could even call them that. But it is what it is. People are caught up in the system, unfortunately, and they believe what's on TV. So we need numbers, but I don't know how we would ever do that.
Well, I think we're doing it. I think we're doing it. It's like Facebook. This whole, are you being influenced by an extremist, or have you seen this stuff that they're trying to do? Facebook have put out, like, it's a big campaign, and it's like, there's all these things they've put out saying, are your friends extremists? Are they exhibiting extremist behavior? Click here for more info. And it's got like tags like how I escaped an extremist organization. And then when people post, it's like they're going under and going, this is an extremist viewpoint. And I see this and I'm just like, oh my God, this will be fun. This is going to be hilarious, because I could see immediately what was going to happen. All of us are going to go, oh, that's a badge I want. How do I get that badge? And so I was on there this morning for a few minutes, and I see this guy, and he's like changed his picture, and he's got this big smiling face, and then around the outside he's got his name, and it's like happily exposing you to extremism. And so everything they try and paint us in this bad light, and we're like, awesome, how do we have fun with that? How can we destroy that? How do we? And it really seems that they're at the point they got nothing, because they've got no creativity. They can't get a new plan. They can't change tact halfway through, where all we do is change tact. All we do is change tact. They're like, here's this, and we just go ha 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 and take it that way. And they're like, oh crap, that didn't work, and they just keep throwing the same stuff. So I think every time they do it, it's just waking more and more people up. I
agree. I think that we're at a point now. It's funny because I actually took, and I should have never took the stance of like a Trump supporter, but I did to a degree, because if nothing else, he definitely woke a lot of people up to corruption in government, in my opinion. And sure, not much changes in America. It was almost exactly the same. Some things were cheaper, of course, but outside of that, not much change. He didn't make a dent in the actual real world. But he did wake a lot of people up, and I'm super thankful for that. But what used to be just really a very small, I don't know how long you've been a truther, Otto, but used to be a very, very small handful of crazies. Who knows, man? I mean, now there's truth channels that have 60, 70,000 subscribers. So
there's some big ones. I mean, not even Salty Cracker, he's definitely a truther. Yeah, you definitely call him a truther. He's out there with all this, getting the info out, and he must have over 1 million people on different platforms. Awesome. And the thing about Trump is, he's just got so many people on board, and he's created groups. Everyone's sort of like, yes, you're like us. Yes, we've all got the same kind of future we want to get. We're all trying to do the same thing. So say what you want about anyone, really, Trump included, but for me, that's just judgment.
Yeah.
No one knows. Everyone's running around saying either Trump's, amazing, he's going to save the world, or he's a shill and he's just part of the thing. No one knows. We have this new concept that's come out. Everyone's talking about receipts, right? Where are your receipts? Unless you've got receipts, which is factual proof that you can point to and reproduce, it's just an opinion. And you get this all the time, and especially with truthers. They'll get their bits of information which are just opinion, because they're not based on fact, and suddenly they're out everywhere, and they might have 500,000 followers. Trump's an idiot. Oh, if you follow Trump, you're a dickhead. He's part of the system. You don't know that. That may be true. That may be 100% true, but I don't
Highly
know.
likely in this
But I don't
reality.
know. He may
Wow.
also be the exact opposite. He may be doing his best to get out there and just being smashed down at every point. We don't know. He may be somewhere in the middle. We don't know. So the way I look at it is, why would you judge? Because all you're doing is you're focusing your RAS to prove you right when you judge either right or wrong. You can't see the in between. You can't see when new facts come out, and you can't change your perspective. But if you go, well, okay, he's done this, that was good. He's done that could have been done better. Well, he supported the V's. I don't know that. But that's just information. That doesn't make him right or wrong. We've all done good things and bad things. You can go through all your friends and family, and you can pick out points why you don't like them.
Yeah.
And if you focus on just that, then you won't like them. But if you go, that's just part of their personality. We're all human. It doesn't make them bad. I wonder what they'll do in the future. So we've got to keep open to possibilities. As soon as you judge, you shut yourself down. You're building that box, and that's what they want us to do. I mean, this is the thing, right? Look at what they do, and then do the opposite. They want you to judge everything as right or wrong, as they're the enemy. They're good, they're bad, blah blah blah. Get on this train, get on that train. It's all just polarization. In the middle of left and right and wrong is thinking, contemplation.
Yeah, for sure.
Ideas coming together. That all happens in the middle.
Yeah, I made a comment recently in one of my videos that the stuff that these people are doing, they're doing it. They're playing chess and we're playing checkers. We're looking at it on the surface, but there's a deeper meaning. And I even put forward the idea. I said, guys, they may have put forward the New World Order, a one world government, because it is a good idea. So that when they come to do it, people will be stupid enough to pick up their guns and fight for the slave system we have now, where everybody's divided and there's constant conflict. Oh, we're at war with them. Well, if we were all one, we wouldn't be at war with anybody, because it would be us. And do you think that we could grow enough food in a civilization where everybody came together to feed everybody?
Of course.
I mean, from what I know, we supposedly in America throw away more than half the food that we produce.
Yeah, and that's all due to money and the corporate system. Because to the corporate system, it's worth more to redistribute it to people who could eat it than it is to just throw it in the bin, and then they're only concerned with profits. So money's a massive problem. It's like water. Now they're pushing the lack of water, and they're trying to say there's no water anywhere. I mean, that's not like it falls from the sky or anything, right? But there's water under the ground. If you drill 300 meters down, anywhere on Earth, you'll hit water. Clean, fresh, pure water, anywhere on Earth. So it's food. Look at any piece of fruit. How many seeds does it have in it? Right?
Tell me.
That seed, every seed can grow a tree with how many pieces of fruit, and they all have how many seeds in them? And they try and tell us there's lack of food? Are you serious? Like, everything is in so much abundance. The only lack is what they put in, their supply lines to restrict things. They're bloody businesses to make things too expensive. Oh, if you don't earn enough money, you just got to exist on McDonald's and crap. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, here's a nice jab for you. It's So it's we have to just reject it. We just have to see that it's false, and it's only real if we believe and go along. If we reject it, and we start getting back on the land and growing food, look around, there'll be food for everyone. I mean, and it's free. Water's free, energy's free. And this is, they just want to control. It's all about control, isn't it? They just want to control.
Yeah. This idea, this is something I brought up to my brother, because I was talking about starting a new civilization. And what do you think? Play devil's advocate. He said, well, what are you going to do about energy? I said, I don't know. I think a great start would be to stop wiping out all the people that keep creating all these freaking free energy machines, all these guys that end up in a freaking hole somewhere, or, in jail or prison. That would be a great start to solving the energy problem. Let's stop killing off, or let's not quit the funding to Tesla's tower because JP Morgan couldn't put a meter on it. There's just a lot of stuff that's happened in reality that a lot of non-truthers are aware of. So to them, a new system, I think, is so far-fetched to even try to imagine, but they don't realize, like with technology, everything, people think that everyone would just kick up and be lazy and nobody would ever do nothing. But I think it'd be the complete opposite. I think people would come alive. I mean, the places you would go to volunteer, here, I'll come over here and oil the the automated greenhouses pumping out food. I don't mind. That's where you would meet people. There'd probably be so many people there that there'd be nothing for you to do. I mean,
Yep.
if humanity came together, we would be in an abundance of everything: workers, food, and water, and shelter. And that's all humans need. But we still haven't figured this game out yet. Pretty silly.
I know, it's so simple, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
so simple. And that's something I think about a lot with, the old buildings and cities, and that is, were they for living? Are we supposed to live in big buildings, or are we supposed to live in the forest? Because it seems that humans are a lot happier in nature, with a smaller house that's comfortable and nice and warm, and land and fresh food and water and that, than living in a city. So I think they're just all big machines, really. And I think that's they've taken us out of our environment as well.
And made a spirit too. Every horror movie you've ever seen is always in some creepy forest.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow or something.
Damn forest, like stay
Nature's
away.
bad.
Ooh. Yeah, just to like almost brainwash instead of be afraid. I mean, I used to actually fear the forest when I was a kid because of all the damn movies.
Well, how's that one that they did? I think it was called Into the Wild. They released it about 10 years ago, about that kid who went to Alaska. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, God, it was just shocking. I mean, it was a good story. The story was of this guy, and he was young and he was an adventurer, and he sort of took off and he went across, America, and met all these interesting people, and then he wanted to move to Alaska, and he went out there and found a bus and lived in that, and then ate the wrong berries and died at like 20. So it's like this big, nice adventure of this kid, and then he just dies. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why would they release that? It's just like you're saying, don't go and do it. Nature bad, it will kill you. Even this guy who's been all across America, and he's this outdoor guy, and he's sleeping on rocks by himself. Even he can't do it in Alaska. Don't try it. It's so what are you going to believe? This again, that's the game, right? They just want to control our thoughts. And when they do, they control the reality. It's what's real, right? Reality. They control what's real.
So are we recognizing that the reality is as some sort of evil entity, or them as a sort of used entities of the evil entity?
I think what's happening now is a perfect analogy, right? We've got a virus. There's a virus in the machine. And that's what this is. This whatever, demiurge, archon, fallen angel. I mean, there's so many names, right? Jinns. I mean, every culture has a name for it. And I think it's just come in and it's just playing havoc like it's a virus. It's going in and it's trying to change the software. And what happens when you change the software? You change what you see on the screen.
And what's like your best evidence that the archon thing exists outside of reality? Basically, constantly always being evil, everything always ends up being dark, everything tends to lead towards the opposite of the way natural, good-hearted human beings would act. What other evidence do you have to back up an archon theory?
Just the main thing I think is that, well, what's going on, and that there's certain people that are carrying that out, and these people clearly aren't us, and they're clearly affiliated with each other, and we have all these things, right? They're all rich. How's that happen? It doesn't matter what they do, where they've been, what country they're in, they're all just do whatever they want. They've got as much money as they need. None of them go to jail or ever get prosecuted. They can do what they want. So they're clearly above the law, and these are the people who are on the box telling you stuff. This is how it is. That's indoctrination. So I think in a creation, if there was free will here, then we wouldn't have that, would we? And I guess this is the thing. Even everything we've been told really is a story unless we can prove it. But I think a lot of things we can prove, through our feelings, through our heart, through our gut. To us, it can be true. And I guess if it is true to us, then it is true. But yeah, they just want to manipulate everything and change it, and so that we believe their version of reality. Once they got us doing that, they've won, right? And
that's what I think. I think that it's all about. I think that the people in control are just plain old evil, evil. I don't know what I'll say. And I think that they use us and our ability to manifest through belief. So they kind of manipulate us into manifesting the reality that they would want. Now that's what I believe. What was it? There was another question that I wanted to ask. Oh, do you think that if we destroyed the elite, the shot callers, put them all in prison, do you think then whoever took power, if we allowed somebody to take power, would then become possessed by this sort of evil energy?
Well, they would definitely try to get back in. I think definitely get rid of them. But then what needs to happen is we need to get back to a place of having morals, because that's again what's been undermined, right? Well, we used to have sayings, I say it all the time. We've got, apple a day keeps a doctor away, and all this kind of stuff that are kind of ethical reminders. They just sort of keep you in track, but that's all been wiped. So they don't want us to have any ethical, boundaries. And now I've forgotten what the question was. What was the question?
Oh, do you think that if we actually destroyed the puppets, they'd be more puppets?
I think it's an energy or intelligence that can get into weak minds, and from that once it's got an entity, then it can persuade. This is what I call the whisperers. And we all know the people with funny hats and the J's and all that kind of stuff. And I put out a video yesterday of the first part of the book of what is it? The Aurea, or I'm not sure how to say it, Aurea Linda book. And it's from 800 years ago, and it talks a lot about these people coming in who don't have ethics, and they're trying to get in, they're trying to change people's mindsets and that. And they basically say, when we find one of these people and we define that that's who they are, we kill them. That's it. There's no questions asked. They die. And also it's that their parents die as well. So it's basically, if you get rid of them, you've then got to keep your eyes open. If you see that pop up again, chunk, don't let it. And this is, our problem, right? Because we're humans, we're feeling humans. We don't want to see people as bad. We don't really want to do that, but we do have to recognize that, if they get, sometimes we have to, we just have to protect ourselves.
Takes the person, there's no helping that person.
Yeah, no, I think once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, you look at the Bushes and these kind of people, they're gone. They're complete psychopaths. I think you just have to be a bit weak, and it gets in and it does the rest. It'll just, and of course, with all the money and the fame, if you want it, and all this, the power that goes along with it, very quickly it gives people things to lose, right? Give all these movie stars and that, once they get in, they have all this money and the houses and the prestige. Got a lot to lose. And when people have got a lot to lose, you can manipulate them. You can make them, it's like, well, do you really want to go back to just being a normal person? Sure, you'll have your ethics, but you'll be broke. You won't be able to eat. A lot of people just go, yeah, actually, I'd rather stay in my mansion and just lie to people and see what happens. And of course, these people, a lot of them get in it 10, 15, 20 years, and then they go, oh, crap. What have I done? I'm too far in now. I can't get out. And of course, others are like, yeah, man, how do I kill people? Take me to that door. They're like the psychos. But yeah, look at Britney Spears has just come out, and she's been completely manipulated and all her money stolen off her for the last 20 years, doped up, put on drugs, basically just used as a money spinner.
Yeah.
And that's all they want to do. Just get people they can use. Them.
It's unfortunate. I almost wonder if the people that get into positions like that, like celebrities or whatever, if that same dark energy influences them. And I almost wonder sometimes if it torments them, because you see that a lot of times, a lot of these celebrities, they get into the Hollywood and they just like deteriorate. Like something starts eating at them. And I mean, they end up suiciding or whatever. But it's almost as if they know some really bad truth that they don't want.
Well, it's a trick. They all get tricked.
Mhm.
It's not like it's, hey, come over to our side, sell your soul. This is what will happen. You'll end up degrading and you'll be stuck. No, they don't tell you that. They go, hey, would you like to be rich and famous? Hey, would you? Would you like, everyone to be cheering for you? Would you? And they give it to you. And then as these people get into it, then they get a realization. They start to see what's going on. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, I'm just a tool.
Yeah. Some people are just like, either I'm too far in, I'm just a wretched soul now. Some people try and get out, try and speak. A lot of them end up dead. And some people are just like, yeah, man, this is where I am. And they like it, and they're into it. So, yeah, I think it must be to do with, frequencies and stuff. Some people just are obviously so much more manipulable.
So do you think if there's a shift, there is an actual shift between us and them?
I think.
Are the bad guys going to be in our reality still?
No, I don't think so. It just makes the most sense to me from what I can see.
They can't even vibrate at that frequency. They literally would.
Exactly. So it's like, the vision analogy with the infrared and we can only see in the visible, of course, spectrum. So if that, if our spectrum is this big, so big, and theirs is this big, then we might be able to see them as we're going up, but they can't see us because we're we're literally out of their visible light that they can see. And this is like, these people standing trying to pay people and they're just like looking through them and they can't see them.
That would actually be like an ultimate hell. if you were stuck that way, that would be the ultimate hell. So hopefully they get stuck that way.
Be like what was that Will Smith movie where he's all alone, but you're all alone, but there's just all the zombies are still there.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that'd be a fun life. This one ain't that far off, to be honest with you, Otto.
Yeah, I think that's this world definitely ain't physical, and the stories we've been told are clearly just stories. And then you got to ask yourself why. What are they hiding? What's the real story? And then when you look back and all through history, all these different cultures and things have been saying pretty much the same thing. It's like, yeah, well, I don't think they've gone back and rewritten every book, so I think there's got to be something to it,
So do you think it's a script? Same story over and over again, nothing new under the sun?
Well, probably as far as resets and cycles. But I think that yeah, I mean, maybe this happens every cycle, maybe it's just the top 10, 20%, they hit that frequency, they go up and everyone else stays, and so there's literally another frequency realm above us, and then we're year one, we start at the bottom in that one, and there's all these other people looking at us going, those dudes are crazy, man.
Yeah, I really hope that it is something like that, because that would be the most just reality, when it like everybody kind of gets where they should be. Honestly, the guys that we look down at, we could technically, they're at a lower level, but honestly, are they happier than you? So are they really at a lower level? What are you searching for? Because if it's happiness, they may be at a higher level than you. It's all perspective at the end of the day. But I mean, I guess my channel does kind of revolve around like, those guys are stupid, and it's fun to pick at. Because what I'll do is I'll put forward a truth or fact, like, guys, how is this physically possible? How is this possible? Are you guys awake yet? And then I'll put forward a goofy fact, like, guys are going into prison, saying their name's Christina, and they're 300 pounds of muscle. They're brutalizing people. You guys awake yet? So it's just it is kind of a judgmental, actually, approach that I think about on my channel, but it's fun. It's fun, and I hope people get a laugh about it. But yeah, I mean, you have another channel where you said on BitChute. You got to leave a link to that one too.
Yeah,
About
I
30
will.
seconds.
Yeah, we got kicked off. God, probably 4 months ago, we got booted
Mm.
off YouTube.
What'd you guys do?
Not that much, we were, talking about current events, but we were being very careful not to,
Mm.
we wanted to sort of get the info out. But yeah, we said something. They never tell you what it is. And then like within a week, they went through our backlog, found 2 more videos they didn't like, and went, well, that's 3 strikes in a week. Channel's gone. And like literally within a week, we went from having a channel to nothing. It's just, so we're on BitChute and Odyssey still, but yeah. So
Would you recommend those to somebody that might switch if my channel gets shut down? Are those the two to go with, Odyssey and
I
BitChute?
would say everyone on YouTube should open up an Odyssey account, because all you do is you attach your channel, and then every time you upload to YouTube, it automatically goes to Odyssey. You don't have to do anything.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so that way, if you do get cut, you've still got your full channel.
Huh.
Yeah, so definitely do that.
Cool.
And then, I mean, BitChute, but then there's a lot. But I would, just for that feature, I would say everyone should definitely go to Odyssey and just as a backup, just do it. It'll do it all automatically. And yeah, and then there's heaps. There's a new one called Red Pill that's coming out. So it's going to take a while because everyone's battling, and it's got to do with, there's a lot of issues with download and uploads at the moment because everyone's jumping, and then now everyone's trying to get live streaming going, so that's creating more problems. But we're getting there. This is the thing, though, right? YouTube try their crap, and within 18 months, well, within a year, we had like another 3 or 4 platforms, and within another year, we're going to have platforms that that make YouTube look stupid. They're going to be so much more advanced.
Before they expose themselves, really. That's the ultimate truth. They can only really push so far before they say, this is how creepy I really am. And people go, whoa, what's going on here? So it's, and they're pushing though. It's interesting to me that there is them pushing it. It's like, why does it has to be some sort of archon. I mean, I don't know. That actually is a great explanation, to be honest with you, Otto. It's a great explanation. There's some evil thing. I used to think it was Lucifer. Now it's the Archon, but it's always there, isn't it? Just to mess with humanity because, well, that's something to do. You would figure that the person that created it and like accidentally bumped the thing and accidentally created this evil bastard.
Could kill it.
Would have like grabbed it and like broke its neck real quick and be like, whoops, sorry about that, guys. We'll do another experiment, get rid of the Archon guy first, I think it's us feeding on ourselves, to be honest with you. I know that's gross and cannibalistic, but I think there's an aspect of our consciousness that enjoys the negativity, to be honest with you. And some people embrace it and other people don't.
I mean, well, we're electric beings. You can't have electricity without poles, right? You need opposites.
Like it
just depends where you want to focus, I guess. But ultimately you need both, because I guess both give you perspective, right? You can't have the thinking in the middle without the endpoints. So they give us, I guess, a reference of, a box, almost, but a reference point of reality, because we need certain restrictions to be able to live down here and be physical. We just do. That's part of being physical. 5 senses. When you don't have your body, I'm sure you have a lot more than 5 senses. So we've got all this stuff so we can get around and learn. But I think clearly it looks like something's been corrupted. But, if time doesn't exist out there, this may be happening now, right? This may be the point where the Archon's going in and Guy is like ripping him back out. That might be what's happening. We don't know. I think all we can do is, just get information, build our perspectives, make sure that they match our heart and our gut, and then treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't go around telling people what they need to do or be if you don't want to be told that. If you do want to be told that, understand other people don't. And just put out, that's why I like videos. I can put out videos and I don't have to, I can just put out what I'm thinking, my thoughts, and people can take it or leave it. I'm not telling anyone anything. I'm not pushing anything on anyone. It's just, here's some info. It's like walking into a library and you've got books. You can pick out whatever you want. If you don't like it, you can put it back. So yeah, I think it's a good way to go. And there's, isn't it funny that just before, the apocalypse, we have YouTube, we have all these, things that we can make videos and spread information in. We didn't have this. What was it, 97 that the internet came up? So, 25 years ago, none of this stuff was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I say it. Everything that everybody in the truther community would say was a negative thing comes with a positive too. I mean, at the end of the day, oh, look, all the screens are out to get us. Like, dude, these screens brought you the truth that you do know. So at the end of the day, everything's 50-50. So, again, I can be pessimistic and I can find the negativity in anything. But I mean, you can find the positivity in anything too at the end of the day. So it really is what you focus on. Would you say that somebody who chooses to focus only on the positive is being willingly ignorant?
Yep.
Yeah. I was doing that for a while. It was actually driving me crazy.
Because you give away your perspective.
Yeah.
You straight back in, you put yourself in a box, because to say that you have to define right. If it's going to be right, well, it has to be right. If that's your right house, it has to be this big and this color. If it's not, then it's wrong.
Yeah.
So it's defining something, which means that if something doesn't fit that picture, then it's wrong. So so if the truth is slightly different, you ain't going to see it. You're going to block it out. So I think perspective on, like a belief on any side, like any rock hard belief that's unchanging is you're fooling yourself. You're fooling, and the fooling is that you know everything and you're right, and that's where it comes from. It's this arrogance, really, isn't it? It's like, well, of course I know, and in their arrogance to keep themselves right, they won't look at any other information because they know they might be proven wrong. They don't want to go there. No, ignorance is bliss. Much better to just believe I'm right, even if I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's that's part of this realm, right? It's so overloading and confusing that you can kind of understand why people would just give up and like, oh, I'm done with thinking. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Too hard.
I mean, I did it. I just disconnected. It was actually the best feeling I'd ever had in my life. And I just started meditating for months. But, I seen that there is some sort of difference between the meat bag me and then the spiritual soul me, whatever that is. When I'm soul, I'm most comfortable. And obviously I'm working towards soul, but I was almost like playing this script, this role of like this spiritual guide that I wanted to become, but I wasn't there yet. And it was actually driving me crazy. And that's actually when I switched my channel. I was like, okay, I get it. I see where I'm trying to go. I'm not there yet. All it did is create more internal conflict because, oh, well, I, said this and that's not what a spiritual guy would do. Oh, no, I'm being a bad boy again. So all it actually did is create more internal conflict. I actually just got comfortable with who I was. And that's actually when I felt the most spiritual I ever felt in my life. I felt free, So yeah, that'd be my message. If I'm trying to get out any message on this video, be yourself, be honest to yourself.
That's a great
kill
point.
evil. Kill evil.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's a great point. Guys, this is all about finding who you are, and building that, and not seeing someone, that you want to be and trying to become them. When you see other people, just pick out what is it that you like about them, what traits, and try and build those traits. Don't, it's not about the hat they wear or the length of their beard. It's about who are they and what do you like, and then get different traits from different people, whatever you like, and that'll, it's like you said, when you try and become someone else, it doesn't work, it doesn't feel right. But when you go, well, that's the direction I'm going in, and I'm just going to go there, and then it starts to work out,
I think it's the same thing with why so many relationships fail. It's like people create this impossible thing inside their mind, and it's just no offense, but from guys' perspective, it's like, she's not fat, I'll bang her. From a girl's perspective, though, she would probably have a laundry list, like, oh, he's got to be tall and dark, long walks on the beach, has a nice car, has a nice job, doesn't have and they create this individual that doesn't actually exist. It's just this false image in their mind. It's an imagination. It's just a false thought. And the guy could be 9 out of 10 perfect, but he, picked his nose and scratched his butt, and he's not perfect. That relationship fell. Well, you're never going to be in a happy relationship because you're actually reaching for something that doesn't exist. Same thing I was doing. I was trying to be this guy that I really wasn't. It just didn't work out. But yeah,
No,
interesting. I mean, that's a part of the learning process, though.
it
It's
is.
part of the inward path.
People feel it, you know, people feel your energy and feel your emotion much more than they, you know, they take notice of that much more than they take notice of what you're wearing. It's the way you hold yourself, what you say, what you speak. You know, so yeah, there we go. It's all about becoming yourself, working at your own perspective, and definitely realizing that, you know, it's all a script, it's all a story to try and get you to believe something. So anarchy, don't believe what they say.
Don't believe what they say. They may be you, though. Maybe you shouldn't believe what they say, but they may be you as well.
Ultimately, I guess they are. Well, unless it's the Archon, but ultimately, I guess it's only one, right? That's what they say.
Silly little dance between positivity and negativity that goes on for infinity, goes on forever.
It's probably just us fighting ourselves.
Yeah, sure is.
Clearing out that negative. All right. Wow. How'd we go there? That was a nice
That was an
chat.
interesting shout out. I appreciate it, brother.
That was good. Yeah. No, I'm just, what's time? Oh, cool. Nice. That's cool. All right. We might rack that up as a good big chat. That's probably an hour and a half or more. So, yeah, get that. I'll do a bit of, not that I'll need much editing, but I'll probably get it up Monday, maybe. But I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll send the link across and
Cool.
You've just got your one channel, yeah? Is that?
Yeah, just the one. I was actually thinking about starting a second channel. It's actually the only subject in reality that interests me anymore. Honestly, is MMA. I'm a huge MMA fan, and I would enjoy talking about
nice.
MMA. But I mean, that's so far different from what I do on YouTube.
Yeah. I've spent. Yeah, I got a couple of black belts. I've done probably 25 years of martial arts. So.
Oh, really? What style?
Lots, mainly Taekwondo, but yeah, so lots of different ones. I like kicking.
Yeah.
All that
Yeah, I
of
love
stuff.
Taekwondo is probably the closest thing to capoeira, which is probably in my opinion, if you've seen capoeira, it's like a very flashy style. I love Taekwondo tournaments, or actually when you get two skilled Taekwondo, that's something to watch. I mean, they're interesting with the slams and everything. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I like martial arts. Should be more of it. Good sports. Yeah. Oh, well, if you start it and you're ever looking for a co-host for a show, I'll come and chat with you.
That'd be awesome.
Get into Connor or someone and have a chat.
Yeah.
Get into some old school. You could do like old school, you know, like the Polar Bear and Tank Abbott and all those guys. Remember those guys?
Oh God, at the beginning, it was like these barroom drunkards, like hold my beer.
It was literally like no rules. Oh, you're two guys. Yeah, you can fight each other. One's 5 foot, one's 6'7". Yeah, no worries. Just go for it.
They actually had a sumo guy fight a guy. The guy was 155 pounds, just a kickboxer, and he actually won the fight. He actually kicked the dude's tooth out of his mouth. But this big 480-pound like sumo wrestler guy. I just couldn't believe that they were fighting. They were fighting. I couldn't believe it. But
that's bizarre.
Yeah, it was interesting times back then. When the UFC first got, I mean, I was a little kid, but I still remember getting those VHS tapes. I don't know if you remember them. I'm sure you remember them. Oh God, and nobody wound it till you go to the store, and nobody wound their tapes. But man, those are the good old days.
Yeah, the video shop.
Yeah.
Audio.
Good times, man. Good times. I appreciate it, Otto.
Awesome.
Have a good one, brother.
Will do. You too, Christopher, mate. Cheers, mate. See ya.
You, brother.